Hi everyone, Zach Prucil here. Happy April, happy spring. We made it. Here in Madison, where I live, we've been enjoying some really nice weather actually the last few days. It almost feels like summer, and I understand that lacrosse has been enjoying some nice sunshine and warm temperatures as well. And speaking of weather, that's our theme for this month. Weather as depicted in music, atmospheric effects in music, and all of that. So I thought I'd use today's video to show you a few different type of special effects, special atmospheric sonorities that we can create on the cello. And these are things that you see in a lot of different pieces because, you know, when you think about a regular piece of orchestral music, which is our primary paradigm in lacrosse, you know, of course there's famous melodies, there's the telltale rhythm, but a large part of any piece is the overall atmosphere and sound world that it conveys. So in a sense it's sort of like the temperature and the weather conditions of the music that really make a profound difference in how we experience it as listeners. Now, of course, when you see string players playing, most of the time we're using the bow on the string, but sometimes we create an effect called pizzicato, where we are plucking the string. And if we do regular pizzicato, we just use our first or second finger on the right hand. And that usually gets us where we want. But sometimes pieces call for more sharper articulations. And if that's the case, we want to use a finger and a thumb to create this more prominent articulation at the beginning of the note. And that can be a bit tiring, so thankfully composers don't often use it for extended passages. Now, when we are bowing on the string, which is what we call arco, we do not necessarily always stay in the same place. Now, most of the time, we will stay in between the fingerboard and the bridge. So here's an example of our normal point of sound production. If we want to make it softer or more distant, however, we will go a bit over the fingerboard. And if we want it to sound a bit creepier and uneasy, we will go right up above the bridge. And that's an effect we call Ponticello, but it doesn't actually stop there. Well, it kind of does in traditional tonal music, but once you get into contemporary stuff, sometimes you're called to play below the bridge, which is something right out of the Hitchcock film. At that point, what you're doing on the fingerboard makes no difference because the tension of the strings is completely unrelated down here. But you do see it, and composers are continuing to explore the possibilities of playing in different places, quite literally, on the cello and other instruments that we're not normally accustomed to. Now, turning to the left hand, obviously most of the time we play with the weight of our arm transmitted through the fingers into the strings. That's how we keep the string down and create the different pitches. But other times we will play with what we call harmonics, and that is where we just touch the finger to the string. And actually there's a famous passage involving harmonic glissandos in the Shostakovich Cello Sonata. It sounds something like this. And it's a lot of fun to do. The pianist is banging away in back of you, and it really creates this special sound world that is unique to the character of that piece. But perhaps the best loved effect that we can create on the cello is in fact the Seagull Effect. And that's where we're playing harmonics, but instead of just having one finger lightly on the string, we put our thumb down solidly while keeping the finger light. This creates an artificial harmonic. And then, to create the desired effect, we simply do a glissando, a long connection, down the fingerboard. And now we've evoked images of salty sea air and waves crashing against the beach, and most importantly, warm summer weather. So those are just a few things that we can do. Like I said, every instrument has different effects that it can accomplish. And so I encourage you to keep an eye out for these different types of playing and extended techniques the next time you're at an orchestra concert. And speaking of which, we still got a couple coming up, one at the beginning of May and one at the beginning of June. So as always, I encourage you to head on over to lacrossesymphony.org and check those out. Hopefully I will see you at one of them. And thanks as always for your support of the symphony and the series. It means so much to all of us in the orchestra. Happy spring, everybody.